And today, that war in Iran is a factor that we haven't really seen anything similar in my lifetime, although we have had previous Gulf wars. I think the other thing that's a little bit different today is the fact that we're about to get a new Fed chair, and we don't know exactly, what his point of view will be with perhaps a bias toward trying to reduce the Fed funds rate, short-term rates, but with inflation still above 2%, really closer to 3% today, there's not too much I think the Fed could or should do in lowering rates near term. So I wouldn't be surprised if the market just treads water for a while now. Earnings seem to be pretty good. That's always a key factor as well. I think one thing that I've hopefully learned in my career is to try to remove the emotion from the investment decision. In the final analysis, corporate stock prices are a function of earnings and earnings growth, and then whatever PE multiple you put on those earnings. As I mentioned earlier, earnings have been coming through pretty solid. That could change if the war in Iran lasts longer than most people expect, and if oil prices go from the current $100 per barrel range up to 120, 130, 140. We could possibly be facing a recession, not just in this country, but in a lot of the G7 and other countries that we trade with. So that's a wild card. And to me, another lesson I hopefully have learned in my long career is the importance of being diversified, not putting too many eggs in one basket. And so whether you're talking about stocks, where I think it's important to have a non-US allocation as well as your US allocation, but also within the US, have your large cap, your mid cap and small cap, but also have a good style balance between growth and value. And when you see one area of the market significantly outdoing the other, I think a good discipline is to trim back your winners. In this case, mega cap growth names have really dominated the U.S. market for most of the last 5 or 6 years. And so I just think it's prudent to trim and take some of those gains and rebalance into small, mid-cap, value-oriented names.